Hello. The purpose of this video is to discuss the nomenclature of covalent, or sometimes referred to as molecular, compounds. Covalent compounds are formed when two or more nonmetals share electrons. The reason that nonmetals share electrons amongst themselves is because nonmetals have very high ionization energies, meaning it's very difficult for them to lose electrons. We'll talk more about ionization energies in a later chapter. For now, this is simply a tidbit of information for you to hold on to. Covalent compounds are held together by covalent bonds, which are formed out of those shared electrons. When two or more nonmetal atoms come together, another name that they are commonly referred to as is molecules. It turns out that there are 7 elements who form the 7 simplest molecules known. They are the 7 elements that occur in nature as diatomic molecules as opposed to single atoms. Those 7 elements are hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, and iodine. These are the 7 naturally occurring diatomic or molecular elements. We'll have more to say about those as we move forward in writing and balancing equations. For now, simply a piece of information to file away. When we talk about writing the names of covalent compounds, you name the first nonmetal in the compound using its element's name. If there is more than one of that particular element in the compound formula, then you're going to place a prefix in front of the element name to indicate the number of that element present. We'll look at what those prefixes are in just a moment. You name the second nonmetal using the first syllable of the element name and then adding IDE. Again, a prefix is placed in front of that name indicating the number of atoms of that element present in the molecule. Unlike the first nonmetal, when you name the second nonmetal, you use a prefix even if there is only one of the second nonmetal listed. The prefixes that we use are 1 for mono, 2 for di, 2 is di, 3 is tri, 4 is tetra, 5 penta, 6 hexa, 7 hepta, 8 octa, 9 nona, and 10 deca. When you name compounds, you will run into situations where by adding a prefix, you place an A and an O, or 2 O's, next to each other. In the English language, this is a big no-no. And so the first vowel, which is the vowel on the end of the prefix, is eliminated in that name. We'll look at some examples to illustrate this point. SO2, for example, has 1 sulfur and 2 oxygens. The sulfur is simply named using the element name. Oxygen, the first syllable is ox. We add IDE, so SO2 is sulfur dioxide. A second example, N2O. There are 2 nitrogens and 1 oxygen, is dinitrogen monoxide. Notice it's not monoxide. We have dropped the O from the end of mono, so we do not have 2 O's that appear next to each other. Dinitrogen monoxide. If you forget that rule about dropping the O's, just think about carbon monoxide. It's monoxide, not monoxide. We're all pretty familiar with that one. There are some covalent compounds that are named using common names instead of their scientific names. The 2 that we see most often, H2O, of course, is called water. not dihydrogen monoxide. In a similar fashion, NH3 is ammonia, not nitrogen trihydride. Okay, use the common name if it exists, especially in these two cases. Also, be very careful not to confuse NH3 ammonia with NH4 1 plus ammonium, which is the polyatomic ion. They are completely different substances. Finally, in terms of writing the formula of a covalent compounds, it's really easy because the prefixes, or lack thereof, in the name really tell you what the formula of the compound is. Okay? The name, or the formula is written in the same order as the name is given. So if you have sulfur dioxide, you have one S and two O's. So the formula is SO2. Writing formulas of covalent compounds is probably the simplest thing we do in terms of nomenclature in chemistry. Let's just look at a couple examples to make sure we're all on the same page. The question this time is, which of the following is the proper chemical formula for silicon hexafluoride? Pause the video, make a selection of your answer, and then hit play to see if you are right. Silicon hexafluoride implies that there is one Si and 6 hexa Fs. The proper formula, SiF6. Correct answer is C. Second question, which of the following is the correct name for N2O5? Pause the video, pick your answer, and hit play for an explanation. N2O5 is dinitrogen pentoxide. It is not dinitrogen pentaoxide because we cannot place an A and an O next to each other. The correct answer is B, dinitrogen pentoxide. You can find many other examples of writing the names and formulas for covalent or molecular compounds in materials provided by your instructor or in your textbook.